Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable judges, learned members of the bar, dignitaries, distinguished guests, media persons, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I am grateful to have the opportunity to chair this session on the topic Pathways to Economic and Social Cohesion, which is in fact divided in 4 subtopics to be discussed in this session, being an integral part of the main theme of this conference, Resilient Pakistan, Calibrating Population and Resources. As we know, the word resilient signifies the ability to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. I am confident that the discourse sparked during this session and conference as whole will stimulate positive change and create avenues of progression for a bright future. Before officially commencing this session, I would like to extend a warm welcome to my co-chair and the learned speakers of this session. Let me clarify first that I agree that neither the function of this court is to make policy, nor it may interfere in the domain of policy-making function of the government. But if any government policy violates the law or fundamental rights, then obviously, under the doctrine of judicial review, this court may examine the pith and substance of the policy. We are not here to make policies, but with the collective wisdom of the participants, certain recommendations need to be formulated for highlighting the gray areas where the government should work for calibrating the population and resources to enforce fundamental rights. History reveals that the Greek philosophers Plato and Aristotle in their era also considered the effect of population growth and income inequality. Plato in his laws and Aristotle in his politics discussed the optimal relationship between population and the available land that gave enough wealth to the city and allow the citizens to enjoy the best life. According to Plato, we should live in a safe environment, enjoying a moderate lifestyle, and moderate way of life can be achieved by keeping reasonably sized population. Whereas Aristotle said, you cannot make a city of 10 men, and if there are 100,000, it is a city no longer. But the proper number is presumably not a single number, but anything that falls between certain fixed points. The Aristotle further stressed that resources and population should grow in harmony to avoid poverty and conflict. We also know that if rift between demand and supply continues to expand due to overpopulation, it raises the prices of essential commodities, including food, shelter, and health care. The effect of drastic disparity between economic and population growth is apparent from the low quality of life and scarcity of essential resources faced by the majority of the population of Pakistan. It is the responsibility of the state to safeguard and ensure the fundamental rights of the citizens of Pakistan enshrined under the Constitution with the objectives laid down in the principle of policy. According to the judgment rendered by this court in Shehla Zia case, the right to life envisaged under Article 9 does not envision a vegetative life or mere animal existence. It also includes the right to enjoyment of life, which invaded not only by deprivation of life, but also by deprivation of those things which are vital to the enjoyment of life. It is also very important, which is provided under Article 3 of our Constitution, that the state is to ensure the elimination of all forms of exploitation, which we say, istehsal, किसी किस्म का भी istehsal को रोकना ये रियासत की जिम्मेदारी है और ये आइन के आर्टिकल 3 में मौजूद है. Pakistan currently has the large generation of young people ever recorded, which means Pakistan is expected to face a surge in young adults seeking employment in the years to come. If a clear-headed policy is not made out for utilizing the skills and potential of youth with reasonable opportunities, it will lead to a serious repercussions of raising unemployment and poverty. So it is for us to determine whether Pakistan youth will be the country biggest asset or its biggest liability. We also need to improve the quality of education. The lack of emphasis on education is increasing education marginalization, whereby the children are forced to drop out of school by their parents to seek employment, where the children often face exploitative conditions and lose the opportunity of education. It is also a policy-making decision for the government, and they should look into and they should constitute the task force at national level and the provincial government at province level to get rid of ghost schools and ghost teachers. Many times the media reported so many clips of the different buildings of the school where rather than teaching the students, it is become a cattle pond. वहाँ पे जानवर बंधे हुए हैं, इस तरह की तस्वीर और इस तरह की फुटेज मीडिया आए दिन दिखाता रहता है कि ये फलाना स्कूल बिल्डिंग है, यहाँ पे ना टीचर हैं ना यहाँ बच्चे हैं, यहाँ सारे जानवर बंधे हुए हैं इस वक्त. तो ये जो घोस्ट स्कूल और घोस्ट टीचर्स हैं, जो कि आप एक्सपेंसेस भी ले रहे हैं, देयर इज़ ए बजट एलोकेशन ऑन फॉर दिस स्कूल्स, बट चिल्ड्रंस आर गेटिंग नथिंग. क़ायद आज़म मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना के कोटेशंस हम बहुत करते हैं और बहुत हम हर चीज़ में करते हैं. उनकी तस्वीरें भी हमने नोट पे छापी हुई हैं, पीछे भी तस्वीरें लगाते हैं उनकी बातें. मगर जो बातें वो पाकिस्तान बनने के फ़ौरन बाद या ट्रांजिशनल फेस में भी कह गए, वी डोंट फॉलो दोज गाइडेंस एंड एडवाइसेस given by our founder of the nation. Quaid-e-Azam said, and he firmly believed that no nation can consolidate without education. In a message to All India Educational Conference, he said, there is no doubt that the future of our state will and must greatly depend on the type of education we give to our children. There is an immediate and urgent need for giving scientific and technical education to our people, and at the same time we have to build up the character of our future generation. Quaid further stressed that without education it is complete darkness, and with education it is a light. Education is a matter of life. It was said by our founder in 1947 or earlier, but still we are not implementing, but just for the sake of the quotations, we are quoting our founders. It is for the governments, federal government, provincial governments, to make some better policies to improvise and enhance the education level. Next is since my topic is also related to the youth, one more important thing which is lapsed and it's not available to the young generation, but outdoor games are replaced by the video games. And our youth is consuming their much precious time on cell phones, WhatsApp, Insta, Facebook. आई होप कि जितने वालिदैन यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं वो भी यही प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहे होंगे मेरी तरह, और यकीनन आप इन सब बातों से कन्विंस हैं कि जो यंग जनरेशन है ये ज़्यादातर इस वक्त मोबाइल फ़ोन्स के ऊपर ही सारे काम, गेम्स हो रहे हैं. इनकी जो एक नशोनुमा होती थी, प्रॉपर आउटडोर स्पोर्टिंग एक्टिविटीज़, वो अब ख़त्म हो गई. उसकी क्या वजह है? उसकी एक तो ये वजह है कि मोस्टली द प्लेग्राउंड्स एंड पार्क्स आर रिप्लेस्ड बाय द ह्यूज बिल्डिंग्स, कमर्शियल प्लाजा. अब जो पहले ग्राउंड्स होते थे जिसमें हमने भी बहुत खेला और यकीनन यहाँ बहुत सारे हाउस में लोग बैठे हैं, उन्होंने भी बड़ा वक्त गुजारा होगा आउटडोर स्पोर्टिंग एक्टिविटीज़ में, क्योंकि हमारे वक्त ये मोबाइल, फेसबुक और ये व्हाट्सएप, इंस्टा, ये सब, स्नैपचैट, ये सारी चीज़ें नहीं थी. तो इसकी भी ज़रूरत है कि जहाँ हम बात करते हैं यूथ बल्ज की, तो इट इज़ नॉट ओनली रिलेटेड टू द एजुकेशन. अनलेस वी प्रोवाइड बेटर एनवायरनमेंट for the youth, which also includes the sporting activities, we cannot expect that there will be a healthy youth for us. So इस पर भी यहाँ पे जितने भी, I hope that there are so many governmental officials and secretaries are here, so they must know that these are also to be considered by them while making some policies for the youth bulge. Then unemployment is an inevitable consequences of overpopulation, and in turn it gives rise to crimes. That is quite authentic and very serious concern, and should be a serious concern for all of us. Establishing vocational training programs, institution across the country for both men and women. ये कुछ टाइम का बता रहे हैं, चेयरमैन पे टाइम नहीं लागू होता भाई, चेयरमैन ऑफ दिस सेक्शन पे टाइम नहीं. अभी तो बड़ी शेरो शायरी करनी है मुझे, समझे ना. I am reading itself my own paper because I am sharing with my core of heart कि जो चीज़ें मुझे बतानी है, I just want to say the authorities present here, including the Law Commission and the Secretary to the Law Commission, to record some points at least. So आप मुझे स्पीकर ही ट्रीट करें, I am not chairman, you see. So I was just discussing the technical vocation programs for men and women will also help to produce skilled manpower for sustainable economic growth, and for which we have to make the better policies, even for the for the growth of small industries, and also sanction microfinancing loans to the youth for starting their own business according to their expertise and skills. Sometimes, my Chief Justice has also said in his speech with regard to the unemployment and the appointment process, few posts and a large number of candidates. It is also a very crucial point which the Honorable Chief Justice had raised. In this regard, I want to make that there is a Public Service Commission at federal level and provincial level. But every time, whenever they start the recruitment process and issue the recommendations for appointment, it is challenged in the courts, in the writ jurisdiction. Why? Due to non-transparency in the appointment process and appointment of mostly blue-eyed boys. This is also an issue which starts from the high courts in the constitutional jurisdiction and end in this court. So there must be some SOP. They have their own rules, but we need to improvise that aspect also, so that the deserving persons should be given jobs. It is a matter of great concern and needs rectification. Now, the population of women was discussed greatly in this conference, but the social stigmas and societal pressures often preclude women from pursuing their work. Many women possess various skills and they can perform various jobs in the offices, but some of them are illiterate. They also face certain types of harassment at workplaces. So the law which have been made both at federal and provincial level to safeguard the sexual harassment cases, we should need to make it more proactive so that the cases should be heard expeditiously. The law is very clear. इसमें एक बात मुझे ये कहना है कि ये जो harassment का जो law है, ये बड़ा एक practical चीज़ मैं आपसे discuss करना चाह रहा हूँ. Though I am taking much time, maybe आयशा भी घूर के देख रही मुझे, तो मुझे ये बताना है कि जो लॉ की एक डेफिनेशन, बिकॉज देर आर सो मेनी हाई कोर्ट जजेस प्रेजेंट इन दिस ऑडिटोरियम इंक्लूडिंग द ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजेस, इसकी जो एक डेफिनेशन है एम्प्लॉय की, उसमें जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं वही जाहिर है जो आज काम कर रहा है वही एम्प्लॉय होगा. मगर जब कंप्लेंट फाइल होती है उसमें लिख रहा है कि एनी एम्प्लॉय कैन फाइल द कंप्लेंट, तो उसका मतलब ये हुआ, जो मैं समझता हूँ इन माई ओन इंटरप्रिटेशन, कि एक औरत के साथ हरासमेंट पहले दिन नहीं होता. वो एक प्रोसेस है. जब वो अपॉइंटमेंट हुई 4 दिन 5 दिन 6 दिन, और बेचारी कितनी मुश्किलात से वो आती है. वी डोंट नो व्हाट आर द मिजरीज ऑफ हर फैमिली. कितने बच्चे हैं, फैमिली, माँ बाप, किस तरह उसके साथ बर्डन है कि वो जॉब करती है एंड ही इज़ कमिंग फॉर जॉब, बट हरासमेंट स्टार्ट्स एंड शी बेयर दैट हरासमेंट टू सम लेवल, एंड अल्टीमेटली जब वो इतराज़ उठाती है तो उसको, जो मैंने देखा है, उसको नौकरी से निकाल देते हैं. हर सर्विसेज इज टर्मिनेटेड. तो आई हैव सीन ए जजमेंट ऑफ, आई वेलकम द ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस, थैंक यू सर, यू आर इन सेशन. आई हैव सीन ए जजमेंट ऑफ द हाई कोर्ट इन विच द लेडी वॉज नॉन सूटेड only due to, मैंने बोल दिया ना, let me speak something. It's my session and I am the chair. Don't interrupt, please. I have seen the judgment of the High Court in which it's very material. I am not asking such things that we waste time of your session. They're very important things. The topics are very relevant for me as a judge of this court. The definition of employee, I was just talking. The case was dismissed by the High Court on this ground that you are not employees, so you cannot file the complaint before the ombudsman for sexual harassment. अब एक दिन में आप उसको 5 दिन harass कर दें, you harass the lady for 10 days, and when you feel कि अब ये she is going to file a complaint to the ombudsman, you dismiss, terminate her. So the matter ends. This the High Court has done, but the High Court has not done wrong because this is the definition of employee provided in the complaint lodging procedure. Therefore, we need to harmonize the definition and the lodging of complaint before the ombudsman. This is really well connected with the cases of sexual harassment, and the Law Commission must inform the legislature, must communicate the legislature. So don't make the laws static in this way that the people can't go. If she is terminated, she is out of the harassment hierarchy and the case, she cannot file in the court. So please make it sure. Next, I am cutting short because there are so other points, but I am restraining that. One more point is that because again the alleviation of strategies for alleviation of poverty, उसके लिए ये है कि देखें आपके पास लॉ, ये जो वर्ड इस्तेमाल हुआ है इस्तेहसाल, इस्तेहसाल किसी चिड़िया का नाम नहीं है. इस्तेहसाल बहुत किस्म के होते हैं. There are various forms of exploitation. It is not related to one. So some relation of this should be made to the disposal of the cases which are pending. The judiciary is not responsible for the delay alone, but there is a procedure. If you will see Civil Procedure Code, which was made in 1908, there are so many provisions which need to be harmonized and modified according to the advanced era. There is a long procedure for the suits to be decided, and it takes number of years. So it needs to be amended, make some recommendations for making the CPC more effective for the early disposal of the civil suits pending in the courts. One branch is always overlooked, that is the relationship of master and servant. We have so many judgments of this court that if a relationship of master and servant, he cannot go in the constitutional jurisdiction because there is no statutory rules of service. I fully agree to judgments and the Supreme Court and even in the High Court. But what is required? The labor court is meant for the labor class. They can go and file their grievance petition in the labor court in the NIRC. The civil servants can go in the services tribunal, and the next branch of the employees who are appointed under the relationship of master and servant, they are neither here nor there. Neither they can go in the tribunal nor in the labor court or NIRC. It needs that some domestic tribunal should be made under the law to rectify the grievances of this class of persons, because when they file the civil suit, it takes number of years, and judgment is very clear that there are so many judgments that you can ask for the damages and compensation, but not the reinstatement. So it is also one of the major grounds which is creating poverty, because a large number of people is terminated and dismissed, and they file the civil suit, and either they lose their interest in the cases or ultimately they die and the suit is abated and there is no question of impeding the legal heirs in the cases which involve the personal right of action which dies with the person. So there must be a tribunal for that, and I suggest and I propose to the Law Commission, and it is was mentioned in my one judgment in the High Court also, कि इस तरह का आप एक ट्रिब्यूनल बनाएं. फॉर एग्जांपल बैंक के एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं, मैनेजरियल स्टाफ है, ऑफिसर ग्रेड है, दे आर नॉट लेबर, दे आर नॉट सिविल सर्वेंट, they can't go in the court except we file the civil suit and wait for the decision. And we all know the space of civil suits under the CPC. इसके ऊपर जो है वो मिर्ज़ा गालिब के दो शेर भी हैं, मेरा ख्याल उन्हें CPC के लिए कहे थे. जो हमारे पास कोर्ट में जब केस चलते हैं वो कहते हैं कि आह को चाहिए एक उम्र असर होने तक, कौन जीता है तेरी जुल्फ के सर होने तक. तो ये बेचारे जो मास्टर एंड सर्वेंट वाले हैं, ये बस यही शेर के सहारे जीते रहते हैं, क्योंकि आपके पास कोई ट्रिब्यूनल भी नहीं है, आपके पास कोई इनके लिए कोई रास्ता भी नहीं है, सिविल सूट में भटकते रहते हैं. वो भी आपने कह दिया रीस्टेटमेंट मत मांगो हमसे, डैमेजेस मांग लो जो मिलते नहीं. उसके बाद फिर उसी में मिर्ज़ा गालिब ये CPC पे एक और शेर भी है उनका जो इसी शेर गज़ल का हिस्सा है कि हमने माना कि तगाफुल न करोगे लेकिन खाक हो जाएंगे हम तुमको खबर होने तक. ये असल में जो है ना, इसका ताल्लुक गालिब का जो है वो इम्प्लीडमेंट ऑफ लीगल एयर से है जो सिविल सूट में होता है. अब आप जब कोर्ट में बैठते हैं, सर वो फलाना का इंतकाल हो गया, अच्छा यू फाइल एप्लीकेशन फॉर इम्प्लीडिंग द लीगल एयर्स, तो खाक हो गए वो हमको खबर होने तक. तो वो तगाफुल में जो है वो हमने तगाफुल नहीं किया क्योंकि हम CPC को लेके बैठे हुए, और वो जब खाक हो गए तो हमें बाद में पता चला. तो एक तो ये चीज़ है, और फिर इसके अंदर एक और भी है कि वो जब केस फाइल हो जाते हैं लोग सालों साल उसका इंतज़ार करते रहते हैं. तो लिहाजा कुछ एफर्ट्स वी शुड मेक सम एफर्ट्स एंड मेक पॉलिसी अमेंडमेंट्स इन द लॉ फॉर एक्सपीडाइटिंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ ट्रायल ऑफ द सूट्स एट इन सिविल सूट्स. यहाँ सारे वकील बैठे हैं, यहाँ पे सुप्रीम कोर्ट बार के भी ओहदेदारान हैं, पाकिस्तान बार काउंसिल के भी हैं, डिफरेंट जजेस ऑफ द लर्नेड हाई कोर्ट्स भी हैं. आप सबसे भी यही रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप अपने जो बार के लेवल पे इसको एटलीस्ट जब आप करते हैं तो इसको कोई बनाएं, कोई इसके ऊपर सिंपोजियम करें, कॉन्फ्रेंस करें, इसको इस चीज़ को एवॉल्व करें कि ये इस चीज़ को हम किस तरह ख़त्म कर सकते हैं. वरना तो ये इस तरीके से जो पॉवर्टी एलिवेशन है ये नहीं हो सकता, इसलिए कि ये चीज़ का बड़ा कोर्ट्स का बड़ा गहरा ताल्लुक है इस चीज़ से भी. क्योंकि वो फिर एक दो शेर और हैं अगर आपकी इजाज़त हो. इरशाद की आवाज़ नहीं आई वैसे. ये भी केसेस के ऊपर है. मैं बचपन में बड़ा सुनाता था जब अपनी सोशल लाइफ और बड़ी एक्टिव लाइफ में. तो ये केसेस के लिए है, जैसे अब एक मैंने मास्टर एंड सर्वेंट के लिए आपको कहा कि केस फाइल हो गया है, वो बेचारा इंतज़ार ही कर रहा है अपने फ़ैसले का. तो अब मैं क्या करूं, किस तरह, कब जजमेंट आएगा, कब मुझे इसके बारे में रिलीफ मिलेगी. तो उसके ऊपर एक है कि वो वैसे है तो ये पोस्टमैन और एक ख़त भेजने वाले और एक पोस्टमैन के दरमियान, मगर वो बेचारा इतना परेशान है कि वो जजमेंट और डिक्री कब देखेगा. उसका शेर ये है कि नामबर तू ही बता, तूने तो देखा होगा कैसे होते हैं वो ख़त जिनके जवाब आते हैं. अब इसका एक जवाब भी है. अब वो उसने देखा नहीं ख़त, नामाबर को पता ही नहीं है कब ख़त आया. अब बेचारा इस आसरे में मर गया वो. अब मरने के बाद का शेर है, अब वो भी सुन लीजिए. लिए फिरता है नामा नामाबर शहरे खामोशा में, लिए फिरता है नामा नामाबर शहरे खामोशा में, अरे ओ सोने वाले उठ तेरे ख़त का जवाब आया. बेचारा मर गया, उसके बाद उसका फ़ैसला आया. क्या बस उसको खबर पे जाके जजमेंट एंड डिक्री दे दें, आप एग्जीक्यूट करा ले, जो खुद एग्जीक्यूट हो गया. एनीवे, अब बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया है और वो बहुत थोड़ा सा वो सब तरफ से जो है बड़ा प्रेशर आ रहा है. चले अब आखिरी में, now I would request, thank you very much for giving such time to me, including my Chief Justice, and now I would call upon my co-chair, Mr. Qayyum Suleri, to proceed further. And I am sure that all learned speakers on this occasion, who are experts in their different fields, will contribute their meaningful suggestions and proposals. And then we will incorporate such suggestions of yours in the recommendations. And I hope that this conference will have very positive impact on the policy making and the policy makers, because I already said that we are not here to make policies, but we are just identifying the gray areas with the collective wisdom of all the participants. And it is a very interactive sessions where we also take the question and answer. And in my session, I want to make it more proactive. If any person wants to give some proposals also, because this is not the matter of only asking questions and answer, there must be some proposals also. Very strong brains are sitting in this auditorium, and I hope you will give this. Thank you very much, and sorry Aisha.